best-selling romance author Nicholas Sparks once wrote in his novel The Notebook, "The best love is the kind that awakens our hearts, that makes us reach for more, that plants a fire in our hearts and brings peace to our minds." This was the kind of love that I was so lucky to have experienced in life. You know, not too many people get to feel those raw emotions and that true love that descended upon me a few months ago. It was summer in Washington, D.C. I had agreed to become a nanny for my sister's 3 kids, all of which are under the age of 5. The days quickly became long and dull as I spent day after day stuck in this routine that revolved around the kids. It was eat, play, sleep, every single day. Yet, going to church one Sunday morning, my sister and I were hungry, so we decided to stop at this donut shop, which had this orange and pink sign. It immediately caught my attention. I mean, I had seen it before on TV, but seeing it right before my very eyes in its full beauty was a whole new experience. It was like a magnet, just drawing me closer and closer. I just had to go inside. Upon entering, I was immediately overwhelmed by all the sights and smells of this small but cozy restaurant. Now, I had been trained for a marathon, so I was a little anxious about ordering from a place that I knew to be unhealthy and full of high-calorie, high-fat food. However, my sister convinced me to at least try a coffee, which she claimed to be the best out there. So I did, and what I soon discovered on that first sip of that delicious caramel mocha coffee was that this was more than just donuts. This is what America truly runs on. This was Dunkin' Donuts. Now, unless you have traveled to the East Coast or somewhere else where there is a Dunkin' Donuts, this name probably does not mean much to you since, unfortunately, we are deprived of it in Louisiana and much of the South. But I hope to give you a sense of the greatness of this name by the end of this speech. Melanie Iacano, a writer for a health magazine called Superior Cleansing, claims that Dunkin' Donuts is a main provider of those sugary drinks and unhealthy foods that have helped lead to a rise of obesity in America. Although seen by many as simply a contributor to obesity, Dunkin' Donuts was a source of happiness, love, and delicious food and coffee for me that summer that I will never forget. Today, for the first and the last time, I just wanted to open up to all of you, my friends, who have been with me through the best and the worst of times, and commemorate the most wonderful place on earth, Dunkin' Donuts. The Dunkin' Donuts website reports that there are 10,000 stores in the world with an extensive menu of over 70 donut flavors and over 15,000 different ways to personalize your coffee. Because of this, I was able to order a coffee that I felt was made especially for me. Dunkin' always cared about what I wanted and always made me feel so special. Dunkin' made my coffee to perfection every time. You know, just the right amount of mocha with the perfect swirl of caramel and sugar. It wasn't too strong. It was never too weak. Some days I find myself just looking back and thinking about how lucky I was to have such a faithful and never failing love in my life. Despite this personal and caring atmosphere, Dunkin' Donuts was criticized by members of society who blamed it for making them fat. Yeah, Dunkin' Donuts does in fact have some unhealthy food that could lead to weight gain, but you shouldn't judge Dunkin' based solely on this one flaw. Just like all of us, Dunkin' Donuts was not perfect. It had its bad side full of this high-calorie, high-fat food that unfortunately was all people could see. But I gave poor old Dunkin' a chance because I believe everyone deserves a chance in life. What I found was that Dunkin' Donuts had a good side, full of great tasting food that didn't necessarily have to be all that bad for you. For example, it has a DD Smart menu that consists of 22 items all under 300 calories, and it offers a light option that involves the addition of skim milk and 0-calorie sweetener for any coffee. The Starbucks at the LSU bookstore doesn't even offer a light option for me anymore. It just makes me so sad. In addition to helping me not completely throw my diet out the window, Dunkin' Donuts provided me with food that was to die for. I began to crave it, to need it, like a drug addict needs his drugs. I could just pick a dozen of those little tiny donut holes, from the jelly filled to the strawberry frosted, and you know what? If I didn't finish them, it was okay because they tasted just as good the next morning. Those little munchkins, they were food for my soul. Eating them was more than just simply providing my body with nutrients. The taste supplied me with happiness and pleasure that I don't normally find in most foods because of how much I can eat it. Very few restaurants have such capability to cater to my unique taste, but Dunkin' did. I found myself loving the coffee even more than I already loved the food. It was like discovering a diamond in the midst of all this gold that I already valued so much. Like many of us, I'm the type of person that needs coffee in the morning, or I can't function for the rest of the day. Without it, headaches sink in, and the fatigue becomes unbearable when you think about the fact that I'm taking care of 3 young kids. Anybody who has any experience with young kids knows how they can be. Yeah, they can be fun, but they can also be more work than studying for finals. More than anything, I'm just thankful that Dunkin' Donuts was there for me to keep me alert and awake with these kids. But like all good things, that summer with Dunkin' Donuts came to an end. And now I'm left with nothing but those sweet memories. Those wonderful mornings spent with that special made just for me coffee in my hand, my lap full of those little munchkins. Dunkin' Donuts was the best thing that ever happened to me. I was able to look past all of its faults and find the great things that Dunkin' Donuts had to offer me, from the delicious food to the brain-warming coffee. Because of that, I was able to experience a happiness and love that I will never forget. I pray for a time when I will be reunited with my long-lost love, in the hopes of experiencing those intense feelings once again. Maybe one day, I'll get to see the Dunkin' Donuts sign down the street from my home, just like I did that one day riding to church with my sister. Until then, I'm relying on all of you, my friends, to get me through this sad point.